Hey, everybody who's on the webinar here. We have over 100 people on the webinar. I don't see any questions yet. So get over to the questions section. I see people working on the polls, but surely to God, there's got to be some questions here. Jason, I'm going to spin back to you for a second and talk to you about technology with an uneven year and really spotty crops. If you did get into some fungicide application on canola, it would not be uniform. Some of the field wouldn't need any. Some of the field might need a 1x rate. Have you been playing at all with any of the variable rate stuff that's going on in the marketplace?
I've got some people that are interested in it, but they haven't pulled the trigger on it. I've talked with people as to what they want to do. And my saying is, at this point, is logistics beats agronomy 7 days a week. And that's a challenge that we have sometimes. This year might be something different. We've seen some things that have already happened this year that I don't know what's going to happen. The toughest decision I think I'll have this year is going to be with where we're at, is that fungicide to wheat. And then when we go to harvest, because we're going to have to serve up a big old helping of patience come August at this point.
Jason, if I could just say something. I mean, you said logistics is going to beat agronomy because of that issue, but isn't good agronomy good logistics, or vice versa? I mean, for me, the bread and butter of good agronomy is timeliness, the right thing at the right time, and good logistics makes that possible. So that's where I would put my money actually in farming.
Cody, maybe you can answer this. You've been in the custom business for a long time. Question just came up from Paul. What's the best boom height to spray herbicide? What kind of a range are you working with on boom height when you're spraying? I guess this would be primarily for weed control.
Well, it really depends on your sprayer and what you're running for nozzles and everything like that. Like you got a lot of variables when you're doing something like that. And on your auto booms, what type of land you're in, like. I usually ran mine about that 28 to 30, I guess, depending on which nozzle I was using. But like I said, there's tons of different options, and you kind of got to see what fits your operation best.
I know we were running the Raven system for boom control on the Dot back when I was with Dot. Hey, Tom, a question. What's the best way to prevent spray drift with Extend herbicide?
Well, the label's really good. I mean, the Extend label, the Ingenia label are all very, very descriptive on what you have to do to prevent drift. And in the US, for example, there is a list of recommended nozzles that are on the XtendiMax website and the Ingenia website that are approved by the EPA. They had to submit these nozzles for testing with those products. They're invariably ultra coarse sprays. So the TTI is the big one, but almost every manufacturer has catered to this new market. Every manufacturer that exists in North America, and essentially possibly also elsewhere, will make an ultra coarse nozzle. And so I'm not going to go through them. Canada is a little bit more lax on it. They haven't got a requirement for a specific nozzle. They simply specify must use an extremely coarse or ultra coarse nozzle, which is sort of the same nozzle we're talking about. But there's also very specific recommendations on boom height, wind speed, time of day. Yeah, it's quite a label.
Just one word to you, Tom. I'll shift to Ketan, but question just came in. How long do you like to see the product mix before you go into the field to start applying? I guess it depends on product, I guess.
It really does. And, I mean, obviously solutions and emulsifiable concentrates are not the issue. We're talking about dry products, and we're talking about compatibility issues possibly. And maybe, Jason, you want to jump in on this, but it is the dry products that everyone's concerned about. They are invariably, many of them are pH dependent on their solubility, so they may take a little bit longer, and we have these formulations that are clay-based that require some time for hydration. So what some people do is they'll actually pre-mix their desired quantity in a small jug just to get the water in, and then they'll pour that jug in, and then it'll be halfway there to the hydration.
Ketan, just shifting over to you for a second, you'd mentioned that you're tying in Ukko and your Foresight products into a data stream. Are you pulling any data off of machines themselves? Back in the day, I know we were installing weather data right on the sprayers themselves, so we could monitor what the spray conditions were by the weather on the sprayer. Or are you pulling any data off machines, Ketan?
Not today, Rob. So today we work with more stationary devices, like I mentioned, like weather stations in the field or soil probes. But we work on what you call API integration. So a lot of the machines have API integrations available today. So our goal would be that once we integrate with them, we could pull data, but we're also working towards pushing data. So a lot of the machines are getting autonomous. What they need is intelligence. So once we have that intelligence on which field you need to spray and what and how much, we could push that directly into the machinery, and it can operate on that intelligence. But that's something for the future.
Yeah. Again, guys, everybody listening, Ukko Agro is a fairly new company. I mean, it's this whole avant-garde, this whole algorithmic area. And so all of this ingestion of data and then predictive analysis is all coming down the pipe. It's all there. Spencer Hilton asked a question around with AI nozzles and pulse width modulation. Do you see products that claim less drift? Are they able to help? Example, Liberate. So is that helping us with drift, Tom?
Yes, it is. So these projects like Liberate and to some degree LI700 is the derivative of that, or Interlock, are sort of oil-based adjuvants that have a unique ability to eliminate or minimize the finest of the droplets without adding big droplets. So it's a very efficient way of getting the driftables out, and it's usually used kind of as a fixer for a formulation that atomizes really well, like Liberty. And so often there's fines that just are hard to get rid of, even with low drift nozzles.
Yeah, good. I'm sure it was Liberty, and I misspoke. Hey, Cody, Weed It technology. A couple questions around visualization, and I know a big announcement coming out of Saskatchewan for Precision AI, which basically is to look at the weeds and try to identify and spray them on the go. Cody, any experience or any observations with respect to that kind of visualization technology?
Unfortunately, Rob, I haven't really had a whole ton of time yet to work with it. I know we are doing some stuff with Weed It right now and kind of working on building a sprayer, but I'm not too sure on exactly where Tim is at with that. They've kind of just brought me on board with this setup, so I'm just kind of getting my hands into it.
Okay, sorry to drop that one on you. Should have given Coach you first. Jason, maybe you can take this one. Best way to mix a granular product like Prix Arrow.
So if it just depends. One of the things I like to do is pre-slurry, if at all possible, and warmer water is better. And it's a time thing. So that's probably your biggest ally there, is have some of it done up ahead of time in warmer water versus cold, and then have it ready before it enters into your spray system, because everything goes in a solution a whole heck of a lot better than trying to agitate in cold water, and it's a long time. That's what I found out, and it's highly unpopular. But once you do it, people just do it. And what's warm water? It might be something where you can just keep something out. You go 5-gallon buckets, pre-slurry it up with water out of wherever that's not well water.
Question for you, Ketan, and this one goes back to the efficacy of the algorithm that's used to make a recommendation. I can tell you this much, in my experience as an agronomist, it's really easy for me to convince farmer Cody to spray sclerotinia spray. It's really, really hard to tell him not to. So the question really surrounds the validation or the ground truthing of your algorithm. And do you target a certain efficiency or crop yield increase based on your recommendations? How does that come together?
So a couple of ways, right? So, the number one is that the models have to be accurate, but also you have to take the user, whether that's the agronomist, retailer, or the farmer, through a journey to build trust with these systems. Because if all of a sudden you just get an alert saying you don't need to spray, that's what building trust. No one will follow that. So it's a two-part journey. Now, on the accuracy side, I'll take the first question, Rob. When we do our what we call as training the model, when we use those training data sets, what we need to make sure is that there's no false negative. What that means is we told a farmer don't spray, and the farmer didn't spray, and they actually found the disease and they lost yield. So So we've worked in field for three years. We worked with over 200 farms, multiple operations. We haven't had a single case of false negative, right? So we make sure that we eliminate that. For that, our accuracy has to be 99.9% before we even launch it.
And if a farmer or an agronomist wanted to play with you, are you open to collaboration and extending your experimentation?
Absolutely. You know, we actually have built what we call as a retrospective analysis tool where any agronomist, any retailer, any farmer can submit us fields from last year, give us very basic information, and we can predict what they should have done, and they can reconcile it to what exactly they did, and does it match up or not with what they saw in the field.
That's really interesting. That's regression analysis. So that's a good way to ground truth what the farmer did last year. That's good. Hey, Tom, I've got a question for you. It comes from Kirk Hurd. For spot spraying, can you talk a little bit about tip selection? Last year, we leaned towards UC with exerpt, but probably too cautious about the drift. Any thoughts on cone over fan for spot spraying?
Yeah, the spot spray. So these are now we're talking about activating individual nozzles on a weeded or some other sprayer like that that would then just spray in that lane where the weed occurs. And of course, a narrow fan angle is important. There are some specialty nozzles being made right now for that. One of them is the AgroTop Spot Fan. It's available from Greenleaf. It's a narrow angle coarse spray. So it's a little bit like the AI XR you mentioned in terms of spray quality, but narrower. The cone nozzles I don't recommend. They're too fine. They don't necessarily land directly beneath the band that you're spraying because of side winds and travel speed. So avoid the cones if at all possible. Stick to those. There's a MagnoJet out there. Those are my two top ones: Greenleaf / AgroTop Spot Fan, and then a MagnoJet, both available in 30 and 40 degree angles.
And Cody, back to you a second in terms of spraying efficiency. Sectional Shutoff, you must be using that on your custom application. I know it's on the Pattison Snipe sprayer. How big of a difference did that make once you started using that?
It's absolutely huge savings, especially we're in a little bit tougher land with a lot of bush and a lot of turns, I guess. So your overlap control on it is crazy. Like you're on a non-sectional control, you might be getting 160, and now we're down to that 135. So it's like about a 10% almost decrease on acres that you're actually applying to. It's unbelievable what technology will do.
That's cool. As we wrap up here, guys, I want to ask you a question. Really, it's around AgVisor We're trying to build a connectivity channel where farmers could reach out to companies or could reach out to advisors in real time and talk insurance, talk mechanical, talk livestock, talk greenhouses. Tom, same question to everybody. You're spending your time with us tonight. We're building something, a brand new channel. What do you see? You obviously are encouraging us. Why are you here with us on AgVisor?
It's we're in an evolution, I think, in terms of providing service. The sometimes free services are not necessarily able to respond in a timely manner. Private guys like me are highly motivated to provide superior service. So we would be possibly in a position to give more bang for the buck in that situation. The farmers still have a choice, but for me, it's sometimes, I come home from work and my wife asks me, what did you accomplish today? I said, I was super busy. And she said, did you pay any bills? I said, no, not a single one. I answered 3 questions all day long.
Yeah,
I appreciate that side of it as well.
Well, I think so. I mean, if a farmer wants to talk to you and get in depth with a customized problem or a customized question, is it worth, $60? I think it's worth $60 to talk to Tom Wolf. I mean, that's what we set up. Now, Ketan, you're a Tech Direct partner. Anybody can reach out to you for free as a Tech Direct partner. Why are you on AgVisor?
We're on AgVisor because it's a great tool to connect with farmers, with agronomists. If they have a question, if they're using our platform and they have a question on why are they getting a certain advisory alert or how to do something, I think it's a great platform. We can quickly get on a video call and interact with them. And it's quick, it's fast, and it's easy.
Yeah. Cody, Pattison has been on early, but you just joined Pattison. What do you think so far of what you've seen?
Honestly, Rob, I would have loved to have this when I was doing all the custom spraying and the farming. As a farmer myself, I would have loved to have a chance to speak with Tom and Ketan and Jason on some of the issues I was having while I was sitting in the field instead of it would have been really handy, I feel.
We've got a lot of independent agronomists on AgvisorPRO and inviting a whole bunch more, ag retail as well. Jason, you're one of our first experts in the United States. We're moving down into the Northern Plains. What's your thoughts on this type of technology platform?
So for me, it feels like I can be part of a startup as a partner. And so it's the connection piece to other people. And so to me, it's learning from other people as well, because you don't know everything. And I mean, you know what you know, but this just feels different than a lot of the things I was around. So I jumped on it. I think it's good. I see some of the people on here and yeah, it's great. I just like the connection that you can make and how this is set up. It just feels right.
Yeah. So you download the app, and I should mention, Tom, I don't know, a lot of people don't know this, but Saskatchewan agriculture is now available on AgvisorPRO. So we have a whole bunch of Saskatchewan ag experts on the platform as well, and farmers can connect to them for free. So I'm going to thank you guys for being part of the spray panel. It was a really, really good webinar. I think everybody got value from it. I think some good thumbs up from the audience, which was awesome. And I'm going to turn it over to Patrick Walter, who's going to explain quickly how people can get AgvisorPRO, download it, use it. Patrick, take it away. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. And I promise this will not take more than 3 minutes. We'll get you guys out of here in time. So that is a promise from the Swiss guy who is on time usually. So please stick with us. Anyways, and I saw there's a lot of questions still unsolved. Unfortunately, we're running out of time. But the beauty is you can actually talk to people, and tomorrow you have a one-on-one session. So what you just saw right now is there's a button where you can say download the AgvisorPRO app. So if you don't have it on your phone yet, please click the button. You can download it in the App Store as well as Google Play Store. It is completely free to download. And while you're downloading it and making this account, I'll quickly show you how easy it is to get connected with someone. So I'm going to go off camera here, just so that you see on the video for bandwidth, but I'll talk over it. So you're wondering on how to get in contact with rock star rock and roll Jason Hanson from North Dakota? Well, it's very easy. You download AgvisorPRO in the App Store or Google Play Store. It is free to download. You create an account, and then you are in here. Well, once you are in here, you just type in at the top there, you type in Jason, and you add topics, experts, tech directs. You click on experts. Jason Hanson is there. You see a whole bunch of stuff about him, about his bio. Very comfortable with all aspects of agronomy because he's a rock star. So then you can either call now, you can click the button and you just wait, and it takes about a minute and his phone will ring on the other side. So just be patient and wait that minute and it will ring on his other side. Or you can go in here on scheduling, you can choose a date, you can say, hey, I'd like to schedule something for tomorrow, 26th. Select the time here, let's say at 1:45, pick start time, and you sent a session request, and you guys are gonna be in a call tomorrow, 1:45 Mountain Time. So that's how easy it is to talk to Jason Hanson. Let us know if you have any questions. Happy to help here. Before I finish, I just want to make sure to point out again to you guys on what are all the companies that you can talk to for free. So we had tonight, we had Pattison Liquid Systems. They are on our platform, so you can talk to them for free. Or we had Ukko Agro. Same thing, they are a Tech Direct partner. And you have all these other companies. So if you want to have a question around risk mitigation or insurance, you could be talking to Global Ag Risk Solution. We also have Farmers Business Network on here, AgExplore, AGI. The list goes on and on and on. So we really invite you to download AgVisor Pro, give it a try, and please give us feedback, because ultimately we're trying to make this application for you. So if there's something that you think we should be doing differently, let us know. And with that, it is 8:56. So we're going to be wrapping this up. I think this was one of the best webinars we had so far. There are so many questions that are outstanding. I apologize for that. But as you guys know, it's very easy. You just go to AgVisor Pro, you ask that question directly to the individual that you wanted to chat with, and you have a face-to-face conversation. Maybe not tonight anymore because everybody's slowly going into the beer, but tomorrow might be a day to do this. So with that, I wish you all the best for this season. I hope for the people who haven't gotten the rain in the Peace River yet, that you guys get some rain sooner or later. And yeah, stay safe out there from Calgary to the world. Thanks very much for sticking us out and listening to the session today. Have a great night. Bye for now.